Hey, everybody. Welcome to the PR Bunker. I appreciate you joining me today. I have networked my ass off over the years and met people through a variety of platforms. And our guest today is my man, Kenny. Kenny works definitely not in Boston, but we do share our passion for basketball, even though our teams do not align. But the minute I met Kenny and understood what he was working, the kind of work that he does, what he stood for, and just the vibe that we had was like, I got to know this dude, got to get to know him, and hopefully at some point do business. Kenny, my man, welcome to the PR Bunker.
It's a pleasure to be on the PR Bunker, and I'm always excited to chat with you, Don, chop it up, and get on
Absolutely.
here and obviously share experiences and just have an organic conversation, no pun intended.
That's right. The vibes are high, as they say, right? So I need to start with the name. Where does Organic Mindset Agency come from? And then what do you do?
Absolutely. So I love that question. So the origin of Organic Mindset Agency. So, I'm a branding expert as well. So what I like to look at when it comes to branding is what really resonates with people. Does your brand tell a story? A lot of the time, people's brands don't. Even if you're self-named, if you have a title that's just say, the Don Martelli agency, you can still brand that to be creative, whether it's the logo, whether it's the slogan, whatever it may be. Really, really, really important. So getting back to the initial question, so Organic Mindset Agency. So what's really unique about it is when I created the name, I really wanted to think about when you go to watch a TED Talk show and you hear the term organic a lot, you hear the term mindset a lot. Those two terms that are just they come up all the time. That stays top of mind in people's minds. So when I thought about it long and hard, and the term organic, I was like, you know what? You hear it a lot. It's like, people say organic connections or organic this, organic that, organic growth, etc. So I was like, it stays on people's minds. I'm a fitness junkie. I work out like crazy. I shop at Whole Foods, eat a lot of organic food. So I just like the term organic just sat nice, right? And it's like planting a seed.
Love
Mindset.
that.
You wake up in the morning, to me, it was like, you're setting your mindset, whether it's a sales goal, if you're going to the gym first thing in the morning, whatever it may be, bench press max or, squat max or going for a run, whatever it may be, having that mindset to really be able to pivot and understand how to make your business really stand out and how to actually go after it and get it. So organic mindset just flowed, right? So then like my logo is a tree transforming into a brain for organic mindset. So it's just, the ideas are already within you. It just needs a little bit of water and water in your plant, and then it just grows, right? And that's what we are. We pretty much nurture and really help people get an understanding of what their idea is and how to really properly market themselves. So that's something I would say. And
Love
the
it.
slogan that we have is growing your business is all in your mind. Very simple, to the point.
Love the analogy. Love the connection to growth. Get up in the morning and go through the grind. I mean, clearly, you've been at this for a little bit, but how'd you get here? Did you always want to go into marketing? I mean, you're at some point going to go into business or being a plumber, electrician, or an NBA star, which I'm sure you'd love to be an NBA star. And we'll get to that in a little bit. But like, have you always thought about being in this space? How'd you get here?
No, I absolutely didn't. It's crazy because so I went to college for communications, so I was always intrigued by marketing. I did a little bit of a freelance work back in school, and I knew I would love to eventually branch off and start my own thing. I just had no idea what I wanted to do, right? So pandemic hits, and I'm working for an insurance company at the time, and I got started off in banking, moved to an insurance company. I was an account manager, then I moved over to the project side on the implementation side for 401k plans. So I was working rigorous hours, and through the graces of God, I had a job during the entire pandemic. A lot of people lost their jobs, so I felt very fortunate and grateful and blessed to be able to have a job during that time. What really comes down to my story was, I just thought long and hard about, how I can create something if I'm working these type of hours for a big corporation, then I can create something where one, I could operate in an online space, two, it's scalable, and three, God forbid it goes another pandemic, people will always need the products and services that we offer. So, I did a little bit, actually a lot of research. It took about 2.5 years of brainstorming and planning to actually launch this. And, I was like, okay, what goes wrong with an agency? They were like, oh, they said they're going to get a website done in X amount of time, but it took them, let's say, they say they're going to get it done in 3 months. It's taking them 8 months, it's taking them 12 months, et cetera. So I was like, okay, first thing I see, websites take way too long to build. I said, you know what? I'm going to formulate a team, put a system together. We get them done in 21 days or less. So 3 weeks before a month is even up, you will have your new site completed. We don't even have to put your site under construction. We pretty much build it on our internal server and transfer it over once it's ready to go live. So, that alone right there was a huge selling point for us to really stand off in the competition. The other thing was, I don't really understand how we're performing. It's not really clear. So I've made it a point to me and my SEO partner. What we do is we get on calls with the client and explain how the reporting is going on a monthly basis, and they get it right in front of them, the metrics, and as to where they are at, where they're looking to go, and where we're looking to go. And that's what really has made us really, stand out from the competition. It's the hands-on
Nice.
approach and just really giving everybody white glove service. So that's what's really been a nice
Sure.
driving point for us.
What kind of clients do you typically work with?
Clients that I work with, that's a great question as well. So essentially, we're industry agnostic, but during this time frame, I love working with fractionals. I love working with, people in the home services industries. And yeah, that's pretty much what I've been working with a lot. And even
Got it.
fractionals, it's funny because initially I was like, okay, they're great strategic partners. But then I realized a lot of fractionals can use the help that we offer, right? So I was like, okay, you know what, from a fractional aspect, it would make sense for us to work together. We'll help you rebrand, we'll help do your site, and that's that, right? So that's something that I've really focused on. So whether it's a CMO,
Hmm.
COO, CFO, we have the ability to help them out in many different ways.
Got it. Now, I love the term mindset generally, and my next question is really guided towards that. But every client engagement you have, right? It's a new relationship. You got there somehow. You networked, and you're meeting them. So, what's that like as you like day one versus like month six in terms of that mindset? Because marketing is always changing. You got AI, you got speed to market, and the things we're talking about now are going to be like dead and dinosaur in about 3 weeks, right? Because there's something else happening in the world that's going to disrupt what we do. But what's your mindset going into a client engagement from day one, and then the 3 6 months down the road? How do you pivot and adjust your business and your work with them based on what's happening within the marketing space?
I believe the main thing is really getting an understanding of their industry. What makes them tick? How do they measure metrics? What are their KPIs? What is it that they do that will help them generate more, obviously more clients, more revenue, right? So it's really getting an understanding. So before I even get on a call, if it takes me a few days or, I'm meeting with them next week, I'll do my research over the weekend to see how they really operate in that industry that I'm meeting with. Because again, being industry agnostic, I have to be able to have an understanding of these things. If I'm speaking to a lawyer, I have to know how they measure their metrics. If I'm speaking to a fractional, I need to know how they measure their metrics. It's really one of those things that you have to be on top of the trends. You have to understand, even if you're working with somebody who's a subsidiary that's financial advisor under a larger umbrella, I need to do the research to understand, okay, I know for a fact that there's certain regulations that must be followed in terms of the guidelines when we create a site for them or if we're doing marketing for them. So really being on top of these things and being able to understand is what really, really helps us when it comes to, the onboarding experience. So I can come into a
Sure.
call being like, okay, you're a subsidiary under this, financial firm. I know that you can do X, Y, and Z. Okay. They're like, oh, wow. And I was like, yeah, because I've done my research from a compliance aspect to make sure that, everything's intact for them. So I would say really understanding the metrics, from a compliance aspect, and then really just looking at the competition and being like, I'm very quick on pretty quick on my feet in terms of being able to look at something and be like, I think this would make sense to put this here. I believe that would make sense to put this here. And a lot of time clients are open to it and they're like, it's a great idea. Never thought about that. Like for instance, right now we're doing a site for a financial advisory firm and we've made a lot of creative suggestions that we've actually executed for them and they're blown away by it. So that's something that I would say
Love it.
that I love to do in that sense. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
You did. Well, how is AI influencing or disrupting or helping in your work at all?
Great question. That's $1 billion question because AI is something that's evolving. A lot of people are scared of it. I mean, AI is one of those things that people are terrified of. It's like, it's like one of those things, like if you watch like even cartoons back in the day or something where it's like you create this monster and then it's just get ready to just hop out of the cage and you're scared to release it because
That's
you don't
right.
know what's going to happen, right? So to me, it's AI is phenomenal, but you just gotta know how to properly use it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like you can look at an email and tell if it's AI wrote it or not because you're like human beings don't speak like this. You know what I'm
Correct.
saying? And if I'm like,
Absolutely.
well,
And as a
actually,
writer, I love that. I love that.
I'm not gonna email you and be like, consequently, Don, I just believe that we have need to get together to figure out our endeavors on this next project. It's like no one
And
speaks
in
like that. Let's be
conclusion,
realistic.
yeah,
In
thanks for the
conclusion, right?
conclusion, right? Brutal, brutal.
Exactly.
I hear you. Because, I mean, it's about leveraging the technology in a smart way to ideate and produce, but also like adding in the humanality and adding elements that are just, they're just centric to the brand that AI is not going to pick up. That's good stuff.
Exactly.
Now, let me ask you this. Now, you and I met through, the largest networking platform for small businesses in the country, Alignable. Shout out Alignable.
Shout out to Alignable.
Love to learn more about like, because I'm clearly older than you are, and I wish that I had that hustler mindset at a younger age to build a network to have the stones to launch my own business. So I just want to like understand, when did that like fire burn for you to say, no, I need to network, meet people. So the question is, when did that start? But two, what's your strategy in networking and meeting people?
Love that question. Mindset. I love how you mentioned mindset. When I hear organic and mindset, you see, you're just doing it subconsciously. It just comes out, right? So that's why when I thought about the branding aspect, it made sense. Now, when it comes to, I would say, really, when it comes to networking, in the beginning, I really struggled with really getting an understanding of it. When I first launched the business. I'll be the first one to tell you, the first year in business, I was lost. Everybody I met, it was a pitch, 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 and trying to sell them something because you're that eager to get your first client, right? But then I realized the best way to effectively network is the relationship building. So it's like if I have, let's say, 30 calls in a week and they're with brand new people. Some I know are going to be strictly for on a business aspect, but then some are just going to be able to build relationships. People can see what you do and what you offer. You stay top of mind. And what I realized in that aspect is really finding out what other business owners need help with. So if I do a few introductions, it may or may not, bring them business, but it'll point them in that direction. So being able to constantly be able to, give nuggets to people and being able to consistently be like, you know what, I want to introduce you to somebody, whether they run a networking community, whether they're a strategic partner, whether it's just somebody who does what they do, speaks volumes because it shows the individual you're not just out for yourself. Because, believe you, and I'm sure you even go on a networking events, being unalignable, you just come across people that pitch slap you. I call it pitch slapping, where they
All
just
the
come on
time.
there and it's just a pitch, 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 trying to sell you something. And then you just zone out, right? Because you're tired of it. It's like you get on a call, someone will send you something saying, yeah, I just want to learn more about your business. So, and then it's like, yeah, so you're just going to pitch me and sell me something I don't really give a shit,
Yeah.
you know what about. So,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah. You feel free. I don't give a shit about it either, man. I totally feel that vibe because honestly, people forget that it's human to human contact, right? And building relationships like
100%.
we're doing now. And, I have this thing every time I log into LinkedIn, I go to myself, how many messages do I have in my inbox? And out of those messages, who's selling me something? Like, what's the average? And about 99% of the time, it's like, hey, Don, you don't know me from your ass to your elbow, but I'd love to sell you a sheep farm in Nebraska. What the fuck do I know about sheep farms,
There
bro?
you
Like,
go.
like people forget that, like, we all have expertise, and I want to share that expertise with the people that I know, and I want to soak up that expertise with the people that have it that I don't. Like, I don't know anything about SEO. I'm not a web developer. I'm a communications, public relations guy. And folks like you, fill my gaps. So you're a great referral partner for me outside of being a good, good dude to have a connection with. But like, people forget to have that one-on-one connection. And frankly, if you invest in the relationship, it will boomerang. It will absolutely boomerang back to you. And I've experienced that, just by meeting you and then, my work through Alignable. And so I feel like social networks have become less social. They're more just like, I'm going to get on my soapbox and yell at you about how I can't believe the Celtics have basically dismantled the team after Jaylen Brown ruptured his Achilles, and I have no idea who's playing. I mean, you could be playing for the Celtics next year for all I know. It's like, who knows? Right? So it's just the social networks have been removed. And I think there's an opportunity for guys like us to take back networking and do it the right way and do it through like, know, and trust.
100%, 100%. And it gets frustrating because it's just, you really, if someone connects with you on a networking call or, you decide to give them the time of day and you're just taking yourself off. Am I going to be on here and it's what are they going to try to sell me, right? Because and I realize that when I get on calls, the first thing I'll tell someone is I'm not trying to sell you something. I just want to get to know what it is, how I can help you. The guard goes down because it's like, it's like being in a fight. You come in there and your hands are up like this because you don't know what you're going to be hit with. And I could really like to compare networking, marketing, and, the aspect of getting in a conversation with somebody to walking into a dark, pitch black room, right? And you're walking in there, and lights are off, or if you're walking in the middle of the night, first sound that you hear or something jumps in front of you, you're going to be guarded because you don't know what to expect, right? So I could throw a beach ball at your head, or you know what I'm saying, you might be hit with a hockey stick, or whatever it may be. You're going to be on guard because of the unexpected. So setting boundaries and setting
Valid.
expectations is really, really, really crucial.
Agreed. Couple last questions here. This next one is fun, and it's really about passion. What motivates you to do what you do, and what do you love about your job?
Absolutely. Love that question. What motivates me is being able to take my clients from one point to another point, knowing that because of whether it's a site we created for them or there's an SEO campaign, whether it was rebranding them, that they're able to generate more business and they're getting more reviews because of how we've been able to help them. Knowing that I can actually make magic for somebody and make it in such an efficient manner and in a seamless manner is what really, really makes me tick every single day, because that is what gets me going every day. I wake up in the morning and, feel blessed to know that, what I'm doing is making a difference in, business owners' lives. So that's what really, really, and then the passion behind it. Like, I really enjoy what I do. Like, it's just every, call I get on, interview meeting that I have, it's just, it's just a blessing to be able to do what I do every single day. And, that's,
Love it.
that's the main thing for me more than anything else. And it's just, relationship building too. I mean, I've learned so much over the last 2.5 years about so many different industries that it's just like, wow, like things that I did not know. My own, okay, yeah, from preparing for a sales call, but at the same time, general knowledge things that I did not know, and really getting into understand it, because like the human mind, for instance, has an attention span of 8 seconds or less. Me being able to really pitch that when I am having a sales call, to be like, your website has to be able to want to convert somebody in 8 seconds or less to book a call with you, and if it doesn't, then it's
Yeah.
like throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping it sticks.
Yep, doesn't work. I'd love that. And I'll tell you what, that the passion and the mindset you have going into your client engagements pulls through these conversations. So every conversation I have with you, it's the same kind of vibe. It's like high energy, and it's rare. I'm the guy that usually comes in and brings the hype to every single call. Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to match you in this particular case because you're the one that brings it. So I love the back and forth here. So my next question for you, off topic totally.
Hmm.
You're a big NBA guy.
Huge.
So and we'll allow you in this space to talk about your team, even though I'm a Celtics guy. I want your take on the NBA lottery and the draft. Who won? Who lost? What's your take from not just your perspective with your team, and I'll let you talk about your team in a second, but
Yeah.
like, what's your point of view, top down, on looking at the draft?
Thanks for the sports talk. I'm always passionate to talk about sports, mostly NBA and NFL. But what I would say is the draft, I think Cooper Flag is going to be a stud. Now, I think that the telling point is when Kyrie Irving comes back and seeing how they really, obviously mesh together. And if, Anthony Davis, I call him always disabled because he's always hurt. Duh. If he can actually stay healthy, I think the Mavs actually could be the winner of that trade with the Luca trade. I mean, a lot of people were pissed off
Yeah,
about that, but I mean, they still
yeah,
got a Cooper Flag. I mean, he at least cares about his body and wants to stay in shape, right? Where Luca just comes in 30 pounds overweight in the training camp because he just drinks the parties all summer, and it shows where he's getting attacked on defense every single time. In that series against Minnesota, where it's like they set a high screen, guard to guard screen, get the switch, and then whoever he's on, they just attack him every single time because he doesn't
yeah.
work on his fitness. And then when he's tired, he just flails his arms up and complains to the refs and cries to the refs about calls. So it's like, if he gets himself in shape, which it looks like he's doing, I've seen some of his offseason videos, he could be a problem. But in terms of the draft, I think it was a fairly deep draft. I feel that, I mean, I'm a Bulls fan, unfortunately. So I don't, at this point, I don't even know
Don't be
what they're doing
apologetic.
there.
I mean, that's your team. Look, I'm, in the dark days after Russell and Bird and all the success the Celtics have had, there have been some dark years there. Okay, like the Len Bias stuff, Reggie Lewis, those like Antoine Walker, those early Paul
Yeah.
Pierce days. They were ugly in Boston, but like,
Yes.
I bleed green, right? You bleed red, I bleed green.
Yeah. Yeah. So like that to me, it's like, I thought the kid they should have drafted was a kid out of Maryland. What's his last name? Derek. Why am I drawing a blank right now? Yeah, but I mean, yeah, he
That
ended up
guy.
going to the Hawks.
Yeah.
Yeah, he I thought they should have got that kid out of Maryland. And, again, it's GM moves I don't understand.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time I find there's a lot of copycat incidents. It's like, there's, okay, yeah, you got guys come out of Europe like Giannis, and so everyone's drafting these guys that are project guys. They come over, they're not really ready, and they just become role guys. That's another thing in the copycat league, I feel sometimes, where, teams need to just go back to, drafting the right way. When you look at Oklahoma City, I mean, as being a fellow Canadian, shout out to Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, best player in the world, MVP regular season, MVP of the playoffs. It's, I love seeing, Shea really bringing, basketball hype back since Steve Nash days, and
Yeah.
it's great to see. And a lot of people don't realize the Canadian James Naismith was actually from Canada, even though he made it in Mass out in your neck of the woods. He's actually Canadian. A lot of people
That's
don't
right.
realize
Hey,
that.
look, you can own hockey, but we own basketball, man. It's still ours, okay? It's still
We're
ours.
we're catching up though.
Yeah, you're getting there. I mean, look, it's. I wouldn't say it's quite at the point where like soccer is, but like basketball
Yeah.
absolutely is an international sport. I mean, I would say soccer, basketball, maybe arguably baseball. Baseball's a pretty international sport, but like American football is American football, right?
Yeah.
But it's definitely starting to get that international vibe to it, and it's. Well, I love to see the physicality come back to the game and less of the bitching and moaning and complaining.
Yeah,
but not that I want to
agree.
go back to short shorts and elbows in the face in the '80s, but bring some physicality and a little
I
street
agree.
ball and toughen these guys up because they're all physically jacked for the most part. They're all jacked and they're super super fit. So that's good stuff. Appreciate your take and good luck to you both. So my last question for you, super softball, people need to network with Kenny. They need to meet this dude, have some conversations. Where can they find you? Give us your website address, your socials. Give us your 411.
Absolutely. So my website, you can connect with me at organic-mindset.com. Organic-mindset.com. So ORGANIC-MINDSET.com. And you can also reach us on social media on Instagram. It's at Organic Mindset Agency, all one word, Organic Mindset Agency. Phone number to reach me on is 302-204-0227. And you could also reach me on my email as well. It's Kenny, it's Kenny, at organic-mindset.com. So Kenny at organic-mindset.com. And what we are actually doing, if you book a call with us, is we are giving free hotel savings cards. So if you are looking to travel sometime anytime soon, so if you're booking a call for the entire month of July,
cool.
We are July and August, actually, this entire summer, we're going to have hotel savings cards. So it's, it's a nice little incentivized program that we offer. We have some partnerships as well. So absolutely would love to connect with anyone out there listening, and even just needs a question about, if they want to have another opinion about their website or anything like that. More than happy to help.
Yeah, I would highly, one more time, highly recommend people speak to my man Kenny about digital marketing, website development, how to get that out there. If you're looking to, have digital marketing drive your business and get the clicks and get the people to call and hit your website, Kenny's a guy. He knows what he's doing there. But Kenny, thank you for joining me on the PR Bunker today. Appreciate the conversation. Appreciate the relationship that we are fostering here between two guys that have different opinions on our favorite basketball team, but we can kind of have the same mindset, keyword, on how we tackle business and how we build relationships here in business.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem.
Pleasure.
Hey folks, thanks for joining in to this episode of the PR Bunker podcast with my man Kenny from the Organic Mindset Agency. I told you that his energy would equal mine, if not surpass it. Great kid. Smart, motivated, doing incredible things in the branding marketing space out in the Midwest area. But I highly suggest you reach out to him, even just to network. Dude's super connected on Alignable and elsewhere. So I highly recommend you reach out to Kenny. Great guy. If you're looking for that sort of service, feel free to reach out to him. Happy to connect you. Appreciate you tuning in. Love if you can all subscribe and share this to your network. If you want to be on the podcast, or if you got folks that are in your world or clients of yours you think could be a great guest on the podcast here at the PR Bunker, give me a shout, don@prbunker.com, or just hit me up on my website at prbunker.com. In the meantime, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you later.